on expiry day. Nishal Maheshwari also joins in now from Edelweiss Financial Services. Nishal, hi, afternoon. How have you read the recent collapse in the market, then the last 2-3 days kind of big short covering that we have seen? And the big question, do you think the markets have found a bit of a bottom right now?
I wouldn't say for the market, but I definitely think that some of the stocks are bottoming out. And some of these stocks have hit a level basically where it makes sense to actually go out and buy them. So I think value picking has started happening in the market. Some of these stocks which have hit a good price basically, I think you are seeing some buying happening around that.
Okay, it's good to hear that, Nishal. I'm going to come to you with individual stocks, but just wanted to spot a couple of last hour moves that we're seeing. Anuj, you were pointing out M&M and the big move there. Look at Kotak Mahindra Bank in the last 10 minutes or so. That stock is up now about, what, 8%? So the intraday chart should come up for you. There's a big move there. Grasim is now back again in the game. So sudden spike up was what you're seeing in Grasim. And NTPC as well is now showing you a gain. So in the last 1 hour itself, last 20 minutes, actually NTPC has seen a sudden spike there. So that's the market for you, 54.23 high point of the day. Nishal, hi, good afternoon. What would you be advising now if I wanted to put some money in this market after seeing such valuations across the board, you know, which are the stocks that you would recommend?
I think you can safely put it in two buckets. One is the defensive stocks. And there also I think the valuations come up quite a bit. These defensive stocks necessarily have a characteristic of a strong visibility as far as earnings are concerned. So I think in that you can put an ITC, an Asian Paint, Sun Pharma, HDFC Bank. Some of these stocks are corrected quite a bit. I think those are some of the stocks I would look at it. And then you have a value basket where possibly the industry is going through a cyclical downturn. And that's why the earnings outlook may not be as strong, but definitely the stocks have a very strong management outlook of the industry is good, and they are one of the best guys basically as far as the industries are concerned. So I think those stocks you can look at like a Hindalco, a Larsen Toubro, Grasim. So I think there is enough opportunity in this market at these prices.
All right, the 5400 call premium has surged to 20 rupees as you would expect within the last 10 minutes of trade. That really is the expiry factor from 10 to 20 in a matter of 15 minutes because the Nifty made that move towards 54.25 or so. Abhijit, in terms of BTST, what would be the best stocks from your stable? I mean, 2 or 3 stocks that you would buy today and will keep for tomorrow.
Well, as a strategy, BTST is something which I never actually liked per se, and it makes sense to catch majority of the trends, and for that you need to have positions. However, keeping in mind that we have more than 300 points bounce back on a low to high basis for the Nifty, and I sense that the Nifty future probably ease off close to that 54.40 mark. Buying something and possibly expecting that there'll be a small gap up or positive move in the market tomorrow is not the best move right now. I'll probably wait it out, and the new expiry, the new C series starts tomorrow. So as I said, if it manages to extend this move further up, then I'll be more bullish into it. In terms of stocks, NMDC, Kane, Bharat Forge are kind of names which I like mainly because of the fact that they've shown strength and they have moved along with the market as well. So stocks, yes, there is still some strength left.
Okay, that's the consensus on the street, that don't get too carried away with today's market exuberance. This has been quite a disappointing series. So perhaps today's move is just courtesy the futures and options expiry adjustment. But let's get you some market opinion. We've had many cautious views through the course of the day and the week. Tirthankar Patnaik, who we spoke to early in the day of Religare, believes that we could see the Nifty at 4900 by the end of this year.
Our targets are 17,000 for the Sensex, so that will translate to about 4,900 odd on the Nifty for the year end. In the near term, however, in the very near term, today, tomorrow and all, I think there should be a positive sentiment that should come in on the markets. In terms of a portfolio tilt, we are heavily overweight IT and pharma. We have a 500 basis point overweight on our IT portfolio, another 250 odd basis point overweight on pharma. and on banks we are down about 300 basis points. So we are not going to be changing that portfolio tilt anytime soon. You are going to see a little bit of support on the rupee in the domestic markets. Let's see what's happening on the offshore markets otherwise. And if the rupee sort of stabilizes, you might see the revival of yesterday actually continue. The markets do overshoot on both sides, on the positive side as well as the negative side. So yes, there will be, there's a chance that the markets could be lower than 17,000. We are just, about 1,000 points away from there. And given the pervasive negative sentiment that we have here, it is possible that the markets could actually, go much lower now.
Welcome back. You're watching Closing Bell. The Nifty went to 54.20. All the trades would have been squared off, and now, it can go anywhere. It's 54.06 now, 54.07, but the trades have been done. So now it will just be about unwinding some of these trades in the last 10 minutes of trade. Let's pull out Kotak Mahindra Bank's September futures and see what's happening on that one. Sonia, that's an interesting one. Look at that. That's the September future that we're talking about. 35 lakh shares open interest, 20 lakh shares cut in open interest, and the stock futures trading at a 36 rupees discount. This is amazing. This is a stock which has actually gone up 8% intraday today. What's actually happened is a lot of people who went short on banking went aggressively short on some of these banking names, not just in current month, but even in the next month series as well. So current month, of course, is now all even Stevens for Kotak Mahindra Bank. It's trading at 646. But the next month futures are indicating the kind of shorts which are still prevalent in the private sector banks, the likes of Axis or maybe even Kotak. So that's a big 36 rupee discount, and actually the open interest falling by about 19 lakh shares in the September series, where you should actually expect open interest to go up. This really is a startling stat, and that's reflecting on the rollovers as well. 65% rollover on Kotak Mahindra.
So you're saying there are much more shorts built up in the system?
There are a humongous amount of shorts which are still outstanding, especially in the private sector banks, because when the likes of HDFC Bank, HDFC, ICICI Bank fail or fall, then in that case, what about stocks like Kotak and Yes Bank and all? So there's enormous amount of shorting which has been done in September futures, and that's still standing in some of these private banks.
Yeah, I wanted to bounce this question of Nishal. Nishal, even if you look at it fundamentally, Axis Bank was meeting with some analysts in the last couple of days, and they indicated that, we have to reset our expectations lower, growth targets lower, asset quality lower as well. You were suggesting this might be a good time to put money in these banks, but if you do get an indication that perhaps there's more to go on the downside, do you think, you should just hold on to that, to your buy call, and maybe you'll get better levels on some of these private sector banks like Kotak and Axis?
I don't deny it basically that you might get a better level from for entry, but then obviously you do not know what is the bottom of it, and that is only the retrospectively you can figure out what was the bottom of the stock. At these prices, the stock is quoting somewhere lower than one-time book, and given that it's still giving you around 18% kind of an ROE, I think it's a very good stock to pick up at these levels.
What about a stock like Sesa Goa? That stock has outperformed this series. It's up 15% right now, and in general the mood has been good in the metal space for reasons warranted or unwarranted in the last couple of days. Would you have a buy call on Sesa Goa?
Yeah, we have a buy there basically. I think the broader call is on the metals basically, and metals the world over, if you look at it, they have been on a recovery path. Now whether this recovery is temporary or sustainable, I think the jury is out on that. But at the moment, yes, valuations are in their favor. The bounce back is happening in most of the metal stock, given that China has been showing a stronger number, and US and Europe are also recovering. But domestically, I don't see any recovery happening in the short term. So I think the Q2 numbers will still be bad for most of these metal companies.
All right, the Bank Nifty would still go down 16% for the series despite the kind of recovery that we had in today's trade. So that's just to add to the point that I was making. That's the extent of shorting that we have seen on the bank Nifty. Just about 6 minutes left. The trade has now become a bit meaningless because the Nifty has now come back below 5400. As I said, all the trades have been or should have been unwound by now. By the way, the volumes are approaching 4.5 lakh crores now. 4,45,000 crores is what we have. Abhijit, in terms of some of these FNO stocks and the kind of moves that we have seen, just wanted your check or your call on a stock like Sesa Goa. I mean, you may have spoken about it earlier, but now that it's ending with 15% gains, would you take a fresh position in a stock like this one?
What a move actually from the stock after a long time. It seems like this kind of move for this stock was pending for quite some time. Fairly stretched in the very short-term time frame, but keeping in mind that the stock has been a huge underperformer for quite some time, is this the move which will reverse the underlying long-term trend of the stock? Difficult to say, because of the fact that the first level that the stock needs to take out on the charts, it's fairly clear that the range of 200-210 has been acting as a very strong supply zone for the stock for quite some time. And it is actually inching very close to that range, and it is inching close at a very fast pace, which suggests the fact that it's probably going to slow down a bit. What I would like to see is if the prices improve further and it actually manages to sustain above this range, the upper border of this range is close to the 210 mark. In that sense, what happens is probably it has confirmed a base and it raises the chance of the trend to extend further up. But if you ask me at this price whether I'll buy it for a short term, a 3-day trade or a 3-week trade, none actually.
Okay, we have about 4 more minutes to go, so I think we can squeeze in one last question with Nischal. Nischal, tomorrow we have the Q1 GDP numbers, and although it may not be that important because the RBI doesn't have growth on its mind anymore, it's more protecting the currency now that's imperative. But what is your expectation on tomorrow's data? Do you expect it to still languish below that 5% mark? And is the market going to give any importance to this figure?
Definitely it will be below 5% basically, because I think the trend is still not reversed as far as from the last quarter to the current quarter is concerned. So I think it will be anywhere between 4.7 to 5% as far as the last quarter's GDP is concerned. As far as the market is concerned, I think market would be worried. I don't see that this is a one-off thing basically which is happening, because even if you are talking about less than 5%, it puts the pressure for the rest of the 3 quarters to actually show up a much better number. 5% plus if we have to look at a GDP growth for the year as between 5 and 5.5. So I think the market would be worried on that.
Okay, we just have about 2.5 minutes, Anuj, so let's wind down the day's trading action. It's been a good session of trade, so after what really long time we saw a move of 100 points on the upside. It generally works the other way around for us. But nevertheless, expiry day saw these rates on the index. 5400 was touched, and then we sort of pulled back a tad bit in late trade. But nevertheless, good day of trade, a century hit on the Nifty, and the Sensex up about 300 points. What we did today is trim our losses for the series. So now we'll go home with a 8% loss on the Sensex and the Nifty this series, but the damage has been far more brutal in other indices like banks, capital goods, etc. But for the day, we have names like Sesa Goa, which is one of the biggest gainer this series, by the way. Sesa Goa up more than 30%. Today, Sesa Goa moved about 12%. It's in the Sensex now, so there are new things to talk about. Big volumes there on Sesa Goa as well. Hindalco gave it some company today, so some of the metal names had it good. NMDC was also up and about in trade, and a couple of these other names from the metal space too looked good. Banks, we were pointing out how some short covering is seen in the banking space. So Kotak Mahindra Bank, there was a couple of these other financials like IDFC, ICICI Axis Bank also closed in the green. IndusInd Bank was in the green as well. HDFC too has recovered about 5% although it has sunk about 13-14% in the month of August itself. Some of these other heavyweights like Bharti, etc. also closed in the green. On the downside, some of the cement names. So Ultratech Cement down about 1%. PSU banks, actually it was a disparate move in the banking space. So you may call it FNO adjustment, but PNB, SBI, etc. are still down. And Anuj was pointing out the shorts that are still built up in the system. Tata Steel down about 0.5%. So can't really take away any major trend from today. It's just that the series has been quite debilitating for the market, and especially for the Nifty Junior is down 11%. So the trading sentiment was completely killed in the month gone by.
Indeed, it was. But you know what? The last 30 minutes have really proved quite good for traders. Look at Reliance Communication and the way that's closing. That closes at day's high, 13% higher, 10% higher on that one. HDIL up 8.5%, GVK Power up 7.5%. Idea Cellular is pretty much close to its 52-week highs. So that had a good trading session. GSW Energy rallied about 5%. So a lot of these FNO stocks did well. A couple of them which didn't do too well included Syntex, which was down 4.5%, and of course then you had United Phosphorus, which was down about 5%. So these were a couple of FNO names which didn't do too well, and in fact Adani Power could be added to that list, 6% lower on Adani Power. Punj Lloyd, which will soon be out of derivatives market, was also down about 3%. So these are some of the names that didn't do too well in trade today, Sonia.
Okay, so we come to the close of trade, and we put behind us the August series where the Nifty has lost about 8.5%, and this month I think will be best remembered for the way the rupee touched that all-time low and all the jokes that are surrounding the rupee. Well, we'll leave that for another time. But Nishal, you were telling us about the buy calls that you have in the banking space. Are there any other heavyweights that you would recommend a buy on? I mean, names like Bharti, you have so many of these names, like L&T is still at quite a mouth-watering level, fallen about 15% in this series. Either of these names interesting at this point?
Yeah, Larsen looks particularly interesting actually, and it's around, if you look at the core valuation, it's available around 8-9 times. So that is a 5-year low for Larsen. So we are quite positive on Larsen. Bharti, yes, if I just keep aside the rupee part of it, I think then it's a very, very interesting business, given that Africa is stabilized and the domestic business is doing pretty well. Now the call on the rupee is actually a spoil spot for Bharti. So both these stocks are in a very good spot for the moment.
Nishal, what about BHEL?
BHEL, I still don't believe that the business has turned around from them actually. I think the problem with BHEL is much more severe. That their margins has been severely cut, plus the order book has been going down. If you look at last quarter also, I think a lot of orders were cancelled for BHEL, which they have been holding into their book. And the second thing is the margins dropped dramatically, much more than the market was expecting. Now the problem with BHEL is that they have got a large fixed cost, and if you do not have a top line happening, then the problem starts off basically. And we do not see the visibility as far as a strong top line is concerned. So I think it is best to avoid BHEL at these prices also.
Okay, you knew the answer to that one, didn't you, Anuj? Thanks so much, Abhijit. Thanks, Nishal, for joining us and giving us your views on individual stocks. So it's been an interesting last hour of trade, quite contrary to what we've seen all of this series. But nevertheless, we've seen a lot of these last-minute adjustments on expiry day, taking the market to that 5400 level, up about 124 points. So good session of trade. Sensex up about 300 points or so. We'll take a break from Anuj and myself and the team. Thanks for tuning in. When we come back, though, lots more market perspectives. So stay tuned.